Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all of my kings, queens, princes, and princesses, welcome to NFC. Now that's David Oblas. I'm Julian Virgin here on this Monday afternoon. Thank y'all all for joining us on today's broadcast. We have a huge show planned for you all as we recap NFC Fight Night 149 that took place this past Friday. And we talked to some of the fighters who were on that card, the fight of the night, our knockout of the night, submission of the night, all that good stuff, man. But first and foremost, what's up, Dave?
What's going on, Julian? Big show last Friday, sold out crowd. Venue we haven't done in probably 3 or 4 years since pre-COVID. I mean, couldn't have asked for better. I think everything went well. The fights delivered, the crowd delivered, and I love that venue.
I love the venue too. Y'all just go ahead and drop some comments right now. Let me know what you think about the venue itself. Now let's go a little bit further into the actual venue and what are they looking for from a venue standpoint that you deliver and vice versa? What are you hoping that the venue delivers in order to make the show run smooth?
So I think what they want us to deliver is a good crowd, a sold out crowd, a solid crowd, people that are drinking. The brewery is all ages, which I think is pretty cool. So we saw a lot of kids there. But the people that were there with them drank beer, they ate pizza. They looked professionalism out of myself and my crew, good communication from start to finish. You know, I talked to the new booking manager there at least a couple of days, every few days, let her know where our ticket sales are at. I think we had 4 police officers in there that night, 2 security guys. So I wanted to make sure our first show back at Monday Night Brewing in 4 years, give or take, was a good, safe show. You know, there's nothing worse than having a sold out crowd, a good environment, but then having, you know, stuff in the crowd you don't need, fights that spill over, damage to the back, the back rooms where the fighters are warming up and stuff like that. So, I mean, a good thing is security did their job. They definitely want us back. She sent me a thank you message Saturday morning. She was impressed. You know, when I talked to her last week, she thought it was just me. She's like, you know, do you have anyone else coming out with you Friday night? Is there going to be other crew members? And I was like, you got to be kidding, right? You don't think this is only me. I was like, we'll have probably 50 staff members there that night between NFC staff, athletic commission, security, everything else, front door. And I think they were super impressed with everything that we deliver. So they definitely want us back. So, yeah, success all the way around.
Is there a possible timetable where we do go back to Monday Night Brewing?
I think they want at least 3 shows next year in 2023. So we're booked out October 15th at District. We're booked out November 4th at Tannery Row. I'm booked out January 7th, first show in Dothan, Alabama at a place there. So I think we'll start working on the January calendar pretty soon. District's my number one venue. District's kind of my home, but then it's going to be bouncing back and forth between Tannery Row and Monday Night Brewing and giving Monday Night Brewing at least 3 shows next year. But it probably won't be till February. So it'll be a couple-month break before going back to Monday Night Brewing.
Indeed. I see a lot of people are in the comments right now. Thanks for everybody who's dropping it. I see my man Johnny Ton. Am I saying that right? Johnny Ton Freeman, the champ, is in the comments saying that he liked the venue, very kid-friendly.
Yeah, and
Emily and I, we bought our kid to the show. She's 2 years old, man. She was comfortable, and shout out to the entire NFC staff for just showing her love throughout the entire show. I did like that it was available for all ages. I saw TJ Holt had some kids from his boxing foundation in the ring with him following the fights, and Jenna Lee, she's actually in here as well. She said that it was very kid-friendly. I know we felt very safe having our daughter there, and you did kind of whisper to me that you could have sold a lot more tickets if you wanted to.
Yeah, so I mean, I stopped selling tickets Friday afternoon, probably about 2 o'clock. No, probably, let me think. Fighters are out at 5, doors open at 6, first fight at 7. So I think at 6:15, I looked out in the crowd when we had just opened doors, and Ashley and Nick Sprayberry told me only like 50% of the people had clocked in, had checked in the venue by 6:30, but it was already absolutely packed by then. And that's when I decided, we've just seen enough people. At 6:30, I said, we got to cut off ticket sales. It's already packed at only 400 people. So that's when I determined we're done selling tickets. And I think we easily could have sold another 100 tickets if I didn't call it sold out. But at some point in time, you got to make it enjoyable for the people that have bought tickets 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out, 6 weeks out that, did what we're supposed to do and bought their tickets early. And I don't want to make it too extremely packed and uncomfortable for them. And I knew it was kid friendly. You don't want to see kids trampled on because some promoter wanted to put 1,200 people in there. At 700 people, I was happy. The venue was happy. I made money. It was a packed crowd. And as a promoter, I think you just need to decide when to stop it. And that's when I stopped it at 700.
Indeed. Shout out to everybody who did come out, all 700 people who came out. I apologize about that echo. We are working on our audio here at NFC Now. This is a work in progress. Thank y'all all for just tuning in and just being patient with us. Again, we're live Studio B, a.k.a. David's humble abode.
If we get a couple sponsors, we're moving this Studio A. We need to pick up 1 or 2 sponsors.
Indeed. We'll get those sooner than later, man. Y'all definitely continue to drop those comments. Just give us feedback because that's the only way we're going to continue to get this show better. If I have an echo right now, I apologize, but just please stick and stay. We have an amazing show planned for you all. Jesse Wable, he's in the queue right now to review the entire fight card. But before we switch to our second segment, shout out to my man Johnny Than. I see you over there. Y'all continue to drop those comments in our comment section.
I will say one thing I didn't like about the venue was the lighting. The lighting kind of sucked. We were supposed to put in the cage Thursday about 4:00 because of the Elton John concert, which I didn't know about at Mercedes-Benz Thursday night. That delayed our cage setup from 4 p.m. to about 6 p.m. And at probably about 7 o'clock, 7:30 as the sun was going down, I did notice at Monday Night Brewing, it was getting extremely dark inside. And I asked the guy, what happened to that overhead light right over there that we met about last week that you were going to turn on? And he said, oh, shit, I forgot. Is there any way you guys can move the cage? And I said, dude, the cage weighs 4,000 pounds. We're not just picking up the cage and moving it because they had to use a scissor lift to get up to the light up there that they just forgot to turn on. It's not just flipping a switch. It's getting up there with a scissor lift. So that's one Friday morning I went to Home Depot. I bought a bunch of lights to put around there. Bought some more lights. When the doctor got there, we talked about it. It was light enough that the fighters could see. It was light enough that the doctor could see what was going on. So it was good enough to make the fights work, but I wasn't happy for the crowd just because it was a little bit dark for the crowd. So that was a bad thing, but we'll pick that up next time. We'll make it a little bit better. I thought they should have had a bar on both sides of the venue. They had one huge bar on the west side, but nothing on the other side. So for them to maximize alcohol sales, they've got to get a bar on both sides. Their pizza, they thought the pizza was going to come out in 5 to 7 minutes. I think when I went to go get pizza for my crew, they had told me they put a pause on selling pizzas because they were so backed up, which shows you what we delivered for them, but they could have been more prepared for that, and they will be more prepared for the second show.
Absolutely, especially if you continue to bring your amazing promotion to their venue. You said hopefully 3 times next year.
Yeah.
We look forward to that, man. There's a lot of very exciting fights, a couple of title fights, man, 5-rounders, man, some that went well into, the championship rounds. And then following the entire fight night, the main event was incredible as well. But following night, we did have a surprise retirement of the voice of the NFC, Jose Santiago. I want to take some time just to shout out Jose for just being an amazing voice. And if y'all have anything to say about Jose, y'all make sure y'all drop these in the comments right now. Jose essentially put out a video saying that this is, as he goes and prepares for his operation, he's going to take a step back for a while. There's no guarantees that he'll be back. He didn't rule out him not being back, but I feel like it's only right that we just pay the voice of the NFC just homage for just being an amazing ambassador of the sport and mixed martial arts here in Atlanta via the NFC. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Jose has been one of my best friends in the fight community for over 20 years. Been ring announcer. We did start this podcast together. We did a TV show on Comcast on demand called Inside Punch. We took over Georgia Fighters, a magazine from Uli Pohl probably 10 years ago, turned that into a pretty good website. We cover some UFC press conferences. There's tons of stuff we've done. We started a show on 790 The Zone called Counterpunch every Wednesday night. So I think when you look at what people have done, not only for the company NFC, but also just for the Georgia fight community, even what he's done through boxing, I guess he's just looking to take a step back for a little while. He's got a wife and 3 daughters. And he does have that kidney surgery coming up the first week in October. I think everyone loves Jose and wishes him the best. And hopefully we do see him again at a fight.
Absolutely. Okay, shout out to Jose, man. Ever since that I stepped onto the NFC scene, Jose was always somebody who took me under his wing, and I always looked up to Jose, and I still look up to Jose in the way that he carries himself, the way that he announces the fights, the fighters, their names, the way he rolls those R's on those certain Latino names. and just the way that he has he made that cage his own.
Yeah.
You know, it's time to throw down. Are you ready to throw down? And I love that. And as I continue to grow as just a journalist, and whenever I do have opportunities to announce, I'm always looking to make my own thumbprint on there. And I just gotta give Jose just all the credit in the world for being somebody who did really put his thumbprint on local martial arts, man, and especially the NFC. So shout out to you, Jose.
And not even my show. He did a lot of boxing shows. I mean, we were at a lot of boxing shows together. He did Kumpan's MMA show. He's done other ones. So, I mean, even though we consider him, an integral part of the NFC, he has done a hell of a lot for other promotions here in Atlanta. I think he did a Don King show in Florida, a boxing show. So, I mean, he's done a lot for the Georgia fight community. I obviously don't think it's going to be the last time we see him, obviously.
Absolutely. We hope that he that procedure that he's going to be having is a successful procedure. Again, shout out to his brother for donating his kidney to him, and I know that procedure is coming up very soon. So y'all keep Jose and his family, his beautiful family, in your thoughts and prayers. Y'all continue to just support hustle, as I like to say, man. Support my man Jose as he continues to go. And y'all stick and stay. Right now, we're going to show you our NFC 149 recap done by the NFC's lead videographer, editor, Jenna Lee Childress, and her production assistant that was on site too, Naima Cooper. So y'all stick and stay. On the next side of the break, we're going to have NFC's very own matchmaker, Jesse Wable, come break down the entire fight card as we talk some fights here on NFC Now. And then following Jesse, we'll have some of the fighters. We got TJ Holt, we got Travell Miller on the way. We got our main event. We got both of our guys from our main event coming on the show, and our guy Trace Harper. So y'all don't go anywhere. Y'all continue to drop those comments in that comment section. Give us some feedback. Let us know how we're doing. And check out our NFC 149 recap video by Jenna Lee Childress of Flatline Cinema. Wonderful job, generally, as always, with our recap videos. Here on NFC Now, definitely encompass everything that happened, all the exciting action that happened inside and outside the cage at NFC 149 at Monday Night Brewery. Now joining us is the one, the only NFC's matchmaker, Jesse Wable. Jesse, that beard looks better every time, brother. How you feeling, man?
Good, man. How y'all doing?
No complaints, man. You sound clear in your room. Is that your gaming room, man? Is that where you're coming from?
This is my son's room. It's his Pittsburgh Steelers black and yellow room. Just trying to get away from everybody, get a little quiet in.
How did he get on Pittsburgh? Or is Pittsburgh your team?
That's where I was born. I'm from Pittsburgh. I moved down here in 2001, but, I still root for Pittsburgh.
Indeed, man. See, learn something new every day. Did not know you were from Pittsburgh, man. Tell us another interesting fact about Jesse Wable. What else don't we know?
Favorite food is sushi.
What kind? You like nigiri? You like sashimi? What's up? You like the rolls?
The sashimi and the rolls, pretty much everything. Big sushi fan.
But now you eat the same thing every single day, right?
Yeah, ever since I've been trying to lose a little bit of weight, I've been on a boring chicken and watermelon diet.
What do you weigh right now, if you don't mind us asking?
Right now, just stepping off the scale is 171. A little over, close to 2 years ago, I was like 225. I was getting big. I was a heavyweight Austin Green size a couple years ago, but I had to get rid of all that and get back down
to a fight? Are you preparing for a fight? What's up?
I don't think so. I don't think my wife will let me. Maybe. I'm not ruling it out, but just looking to get in shape and be a little healthier.
Indeed, man. Now I asked you about your favorite. You told us about your favorite food. Did you have a favorite fight from this past weekend's card?
Man, it's hard to pick. I knew going into that event, I was telling David and Charlene, like the last 8 fights on the card were all going to be pretty crazy. If I had to pick one that really sticks out, it was Seth Haas versus Cameron Burton. The fight that went to, I think it was a unanimous draw. Man, that was such a back and forth, crazy fight. That first round was really close, but I had to give it to Seth. I went back and watched it. Seth did hit him with a big shot in that first round that kind of staggered him, and then the rest of the round was close, so you have to give it to Seth. Cameron definitely took over rounds 2, rounds 3, and round 4. And then in that 5th round was, taking over as well, but then maybe 10, 15 seconds left. Seth landed a knockdown, and, in Muay Thai, knockdowns are scored 10-8 rounds, so that's why that fight was scored a draw. But, man, what a fight from Seth Haas and Cameron Burton. And,
it was an amazing fight. Now, I think in real time, some people were upset about the decision. You said after you watched the fight, you could definitely see the way that fight was scored.
Basically, yeah. I mean, if you give it the first round to Seth, that's 10-9. The next 3 is, 10-9 Cameron. But then if you scored a knockdown in that 3rd round, it's a 10-8 round. So that evens it up at the 47-47. So I understand. I did talk to Cameron's coach, Kelly Leo, after the fight. He said that it was a slip. Looking back, it's tough to say, man. It's tough to say. It did kind of look like a knockdown to me. I can understand where they're saying it's a slip. But, the ref's got a rule on the side of caution. They can't just let the fighter up if they're rocked and let them continue and potentially get knocked out. So, I definitely agree with the knockdown.
Yeah, and Jimmy Neely came over to me afterwards, and he didn't apologize, but he kind of told his side of it, that it was a knockdown, and that's why he ruled it as such. And I told Jimmy, you'd never see myself or you arguing a referee or judge's decision. I think in 20 years, no one's probably ever picked up on us arguing a referee's judge's decision just because it doesn't affect us. But I told him I thought he made the right call. I personally thought it was a knockdown sitting there watching it live, so I had no argument with it at all. I thought Jimmy made the correct call.
So would you say that was the fight of the night?
I would say so. Yeah, it was one of the good ones. TJ Holt and Justin McCollum was also right up there with, one of the best fights of the night. But if I had to pick one, yeah, I'd give it to Cameron and Seth.
Did we have a submission of the night?
Got to give it to Trace Harper.
I was just saying.
You know what? Let me take that back. I was Googling this today. UFC heavyweight triangle finishes, and I couldn't find one. I don't think I've ever seen a triangle choke from a heavyweight, especially in the 3rd, and final round. Most heavyweights are gassed. David hates, 5-round title fights because, the heavyweights always get gassed and it's boring. And, I think we proved that it was a good one. And the 3rd, granted it was the 3rd, not 5th round, but still a good ways into the fight, Austin pulled off a triangle off of his back. And like I said, how often do you see triangle chokes from heavyweights? So yeah, submission of the night, Austin Green.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with that, but shout out to my man Trace, honorable mention in that one.
Yes,
and
sir.
Then our knockout of the night. I'm assuming there's only one on that one.
Detroit, man, it's that kid. I love watching Travell fight. The energy he brings, just the crowd he brings. Every time he steps in there, you have to pay attention. You can't blink. The first round was really close, and I think it was 12 seconds, 13 seconds or something like that into the 2nd round. Farouk came out with, an awkward kind of karate type style, but Travell is used to seeing that. He trains with karate guys every day. He trains with Richard Chamel in Shootaconn, Atlanta. And he picked right up on the movements that Farouk was throwing. He was kind of lifting his leg and sitting it back down real heavy with his hands down. And as soon as he picked that leg up and brought it down, Travell came in with a massive 1-2, just, straight punches right down the middle. That's what wins fights. And, man, knocked him out bad.
Did you rewatch that fight? Because when I rewatched the knockdown, did you think it was an early stoppage or was that the right call?
Oh, no, he was out. I'd recommend rewatching it again. Yeah, man, he was out. Yeah, that was definitely.
I think his eyes definitely rolled back. It was just it happened so quick. It was just like, oh man, was the fight over or is the fight over?
Yeah, he comes forward, but if you look at Travell, he's always moving forward. He does not step back. He keeps his hands up and he moves forward and he throws big punches. It's the same thing he did versus Alex Caruso, versus a lot of people that he's fought. He's got a lot of stoppage wins. And, man, I wonder how many he's got before he goes pro. But I do know who I want to see him fight next.
Now, that's a great transition, because after his fight, he had a very spirited call out, man. What did you think about that? And could we expect to see that fight coming up?
Like, going into the card, that wasn't even a fight I was thinking about. Like, they were on the same card. I kind of thought that, I don't want to say it's beef. It's competitive beef. But I kind of thought it was squash. You know what I mean? TJ won the fight. They fought amateur MMA rules. So, the rule set was a little different. They couldn't punch to the face on the ground. They had to wear shin guards. But now they're both advanced amateur in Muay Thai. They're both advanced amateur in MMA. I think it's about time we make a top dog NFC title and have Travell Miller and TJ Holt fight again in advanced amateur Muay Thai or MMA, whichever they choose.
What do you think that fight should be at? Because I know they fought MMA last time. What do you think that fight? What do you think the rules of the fight should be? Or is it up to the person who won the fight last?
It's up to them. I mean, obviously, TJ Holt is the champion now at 145 pounds in Muay Thai. But I'm fine seeing him fight with kickboxing gloves on, but who wouldn't want to see those guys put on some, smaller MMA gloves and throw down as well?
Now, transitioning to our 13th fight of the evening, our pro Muay Thai fight, man. It seemed like Osei Abunal was having a real difficulty finding an opponent, man. Could you just take us behind the curtain about how that fight come along with Larry Green, who stepped in, 24 hours notice?
So he was supposed to fight Adrian Miles. Adrian Miles kind of went AWOL on us, backed out. Harrison Aiken ended up stepping up on a week's notice. And then a day before the weigh-ins, messaged me and Dave saying that he, possibly hurt his knee. As far as we all knew, the fight was off. And as much as I would love to take credit for, the Larry Green versus OC fight, I can't. I'm going to have to kind of turn it over to David. This happened at weigh-ins, and I actually found out about this fight at my day job on break. I go on lunch break, and I'm scrolling through Facebook, and I see that Larry Green is fighting OC Abunal on 24 hours notice. And I'm like, what? I had no idea. It was even happening. So, Dave, kind of tell him how all that happened on Thursday at weigh-ins.
Yeah, so we were at weigh-ins, and I guess I was staring at the both of them sitting there in a circle. I think in a circle was Osei, Larry Green, Cam Graham, and Austin. And they were all just kind of sitting there hanging out. And Osei obviously didn't have an opponent. I told him to come to weigh-ins because we did have four other heavyweights. No, excuse me, two other heavyweights. So if either one didn't make weight, and we were concerned about Austin Green because his fight was at 267. He was 293 the week earlier. So in case he didn't make weight, Osei would be there as a backup in case. So Osei came to weigh-ins. He was cool about it. But then I saw Larry Green in the circle. I'm looking at Larry Green, and Larry just came to my house the day before Wednesday to buy a Jiu-Jitsu match from me. So we were chit-chatting there. And I just saw Larry Green. And I was like, hey, why don't you two fight each other? And they kind of looked at each other and just giggled for a second. And they looked back at me, and I was like, I'm not kidding. Like, why don't you guys actually fight each other? And both of them like, okay, yeah, why not? We're the same weight. Larry said he had been training a little bit, so he was in shape enough to go a couple rounds. And then I talked to Larry a little bit about purse money. We agreed on that. And then he did not have a blood or eye exam. So I had to call our place, Low T Nation, get him hooked up with a blood test right away. And the funny thing is weigh-ins were at 1 and they were done at 3. And at 3 o'clock, Larry is still there chit-chatting with people, like hanging out, chit-chatting. And I was like, Larry, get the hell out of here. Like, go to the blood test place. And he's like, okay, I'll leave in a minute. 3:15, 3:30. I'm like, Larry, what are you still doing here? You got to get out of here. So he finally goes and gets the blood test. And Friday morning, I got that back. Quickest turnaround ever. Luckily, I'm good friends with the owner. He does my TRT. And we got his blood test back, I think, by like 11 a.m. Friday, quickest I've ever turned around. And he also got his eye exam Friday morning as well. So for everything, Larry got set in the fight. And, it was Larry versus Osei. So we actually announced that Thursday at weigh-ins. People were chatting it up Thursday night. It didn't really even come together till Friday morning. So I thought they both might get disappointed that blood test didn't come back, but it did. So the fight was on.
Got to give a major shout out to my man Larry Green, and I was definitely moved by his post-fight interview, man, in the cage, and how he just told everybody, man, just step the fuck up. Excuse my language, but he was like, hey, if you're gonna be a mixed martial artist, man, like, yo, like, step the fuck up. Like, I did this on 24 hours notice, and I felt like it was necessary for him to have a moment to, address the crowd after just being a warrior and getting in there off such short notice against a killer in Osei. Osei is he's a killer. And he hopped in there, man, and he did that, and I'm sure he helped save Osei, and all his fans that came out there to watch him compete. He saved the card, and I'm confident that you took care of him too, David.
Yeah, I mean, Osei sold over $6,000 in tickets. I mean, it's more than Osei has ever sold. I think his girl Samantha helped sell a lot of those. A lot of people from his company wanted to come. And the interesting thing was when I talked to them earlier in the week when the fight versus Harrison was off, I asked them, are all your fans going to want to get refunds on their tickets? Or are they still going to want to come? Because we'll have to deal with that. And Samantha told me, no, whether Osei fights or not, they're still coming to the show. So, again, I go back to this a lot. I think a different promoter or a scumbag promoter would have just said, hey, all those people are still coming. We still sold over $6,000 in tickets to Osei's crowd. Why spend the money and get someone else? But I thought it was the right thing to do. We went through Austin, and then Harrison picked it up on a week's notice, and then Larry Green picked up on 24 hours notice. So it was pretty cool to see two Atlanta guys both step up. And, Harrison's injury was legit. He also went to Dr. Traub Thursday morning. Dr. Traub checked him out and agreed he could not fight. So, yeah, it was cool to see Atlanta guys helping out Atlanta guys. And whether that helps out the NFC or not, I don't know. But it helps out the other guys and it helps out the fans. And it's something we won't forget. So, I mean, when it comes, Larry Green tells us he wants to fight again. We'll do everything we can to make his fight happen next time.
Shout out to Larry Green, man. He's in the comments right now, man. Shout out to you, Larry. We appreciate you for stepping up. Shout out to Ja Fighter. He asked a question. He said, how does an upcoming fighter get into the amateur series? Jesse.
Hit me up on Facebook, Jesse Arnold Wable at yahoo.com. Our NFC Fight Night page on Instagram or Facebook. Just contact us on there. Or you can fill out the form on nfcfighting.com.
So, Jess, you did say a minute ago when we were talking about the fight of the night. I also thought the fight of the night was the main event, Austin versus Cam. And you were talking about how I hate 5-round fights for title fights. And I think sometimes they are good. But at times I think Austin versus Cam, as good as that fight was with the 3rd-round sub and them still having energy, I think if that was scheduled as a 5-round fight, I think they both would have taken those 3 rounds a little bit easier, knowing there was 4 and 5 rounds coming up. So I personally think that was a right decision on the heavyweight guys to not do them as 5 rounds because we saw an amazing fight after, for the 3 rounds.
Agreed. I can understand that.
Now, one thing that I did want to bring up, man, last show we had you on, Jesse, and we had on Trace Harper as well as Ryan Kimbrough, and all of a sudden it was decided that was a title eliminator fight. Can we expect Trace Harper to be fighting TJ Spires?
Yeah, so Trace Harper is the number 1 contender. So I was kind of talking to Dave a little bit about this earlier. TJ Spires really wanted on this November 4th card. Sometimes with the matchmaking, it's all about timing with people. You know what I mean? It just really is sometimes. I kind of got the impression last week that, whether Ryan Kimbrough won or lost, that he probably didn't want to fight so soon in November. I don't know what you guys think or what vibe y'all got, but that's just kind of the vibe I got. Quincy Evans, he trains with Jason Faglier, Malcolm Wellmaker. He's 3-1. He's an exciting fighter. He was also throwing his name in the hat for a title fight. And, kind of like I said, kind of after the interview last week, I wasn't really sure about it. Jason had messaged me saying Quincy had another title fight opportunity for another promotion. So now I'm kind of faced with, well, do I want to kind of wait and see how this fight goes? What if one of them gets injured? What if, Ryan wins but doesn't want to fight? What if Trace wins and he's injured? Do I want to take a chance and have Trace and Ryan not available and then Quincy now fighting for another promotion and TJ without a fight? So the decision was made, late last week to go ahead and make Quincy Evans versus TJ Spires happen November 4th. They're going to fight for the 155-pound title. Trace is still the number 1 contender. I have no problem with him, waiting it out and fighting the winner. But if not, I do have another opponent for Trace for November 4th. It was already offered to his coach. I was actually approached by Hayden Bolding's coach. He's 2-3 from American Top Team Atlanta. And they requested to fight Trace, which kind of surprised me. So, if Trace wants to stay busy and wants to fight on that same card, he can. Or if he wants to just keep training and get better and prepare for the title fight, that's fine too. I'd love to have Trace out November 4th if that's what he chooses. Maybe commentate the title fight, get a cage side view, get a good look, and then get in the cage afterwards and pose off against the winner and fight for the title next. So, yeah, Trace is still definitely the number one contender. He looks super impressive. I don't think anybody saw that happening. Maybe he did. I'm sure he did. But I don't think a lot of us did, to be honest. And he dominated that fight. Threw some spinning wheel kicks. I think looked a little bit better on the feet than Ryan did, which surprised me. And you could tell as soon as he got a hold of Ryan, there was nothing Ryan was going to do. That was Trace's fight. It was Trace's night. And he looked great.
Shout out to Trace. I think he may have felt a little disrespected about the buildup of this November 4th card that didn't have anything to do with him. So we'll see what he has to say. He'll be on the program a little bit later. Jesse, we do have the fight of the decade coming up on October 15th. Could you tell us about that card a little bit before we part ways?
Yeah, so that's going to be an early card. We're starting at 5 p.m. We're looking to get out of there about 9 p.m. There's going to be about 10, 11 fights on the card with a couple jiu-jitsu matches on it. Right now, we've got a couple pro fights. The main event, of course, Doug Usher and Jared Gooden. Co-main event hasn't been announced yet, but Luis Brewington will be the co-main event. He's fighting Maurice Morris from North Carolina. We've got Chloe Greeley on the card fighting Kelly Jersild. A lot of good fights on the card. Like I said, we're not going to have 14, 15 fights on this card. It's going to be a kind of a little bit of a shorter night because it is an earlier start time and we do have to be out of the venue by a certain time. But man, I cannot wait. That is going to be such a good, fun event to watch. Jared Gooden and Doug Usher. It just doesn't get better than that. Definitely fight of the decade.
For sure, man. Hey, Jesse, man, thank you for your time. I know you got the kids to attend to, man. Tell Tiffany we said hello, man. Show her our love. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Jesse Wable, NFC's matchmaker. Thank you for your time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Have a good one.
Peace.
Later.
Coming up next on the show, we got Travell Miller following his KO of the night. He'll be coming up right after we showcase our NFC 149 recap video from this Friday, again done by Generally Childress. Y'all stick and stay. Make sure you tune in. Continue to drop these comments. Shout out to Jaw Fighter. We see you in there. Look at these studs. No, look at you, brother. Look at you. We appreciate you. Again, this is David Oblas. I'm Julian Virgin. This is NFC Now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to NFC Now. I'm Julian Virgin. That's David Oblas, and we're joined here by Detroit's very own, the one, the only, Travell Miller. Travell, what up, though?
What up, though?
How you living, bro?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, man.
You look a lot more relaxed than you did last time, now that the fight's over.
It's always like that. I'm pretty sure you see it all the time backstage, before, a big fight. It's always hard to try to stay focused and keep your eye on what's going on. But, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now.
What did you and Chloe think of the table tents I made with both you guys on the table tents? I know she took a photo of it, but I kind of changed up where you're both on there now, just good action shots.
It was the highlight of the night. I ain't gonna lie. To you guys like the knockout. That was our highlight. We saw that on the table because it just happened so like it just happened just like out of the blue. Like, yeah, I remember these. Funny because they're right. They just happened to be right. You know, yeah. I don't know. Someone just took all of them. But anyway, it's right there on the table. It was just that was really cool. Thanks. I was wondering what idea that was to do that. By the way.
You're part of the cleanup staff now.
Thank you.
Travell, man, I haven't seen you in the cage in a while, man. Was that your first fight coming off this loss to TJ?
No, I fought in IKF in Orlando a couple of months ago. I lost it was a tough decision, but it was a great learning lesson. And watching my fight from Friday, I see where it came into handy. But
and that's what I was essentially getting at, man. Now, you got back in the win column, man, in an emphatic way, man. You knocked him out. Like, how does that feel, man, to like avenge a couple of losses and now come back and just reestablish yourself as that dude?
Well, from just having that undefeated record, to getting that smudge, it was like, excuse me, kind of like a mind fuck. But at the end of the day, I got a great team, a great support system. Nobody's messing with my gym, and instead of just brute strength and the things that you see in the gym, they also help with mental strength as well. And we've all gotten over together. Everybody loses. Even the people that have clean records in amateur, UFC, pro. You take a loss somewhere. To keep getting those wins.
Now, going into this fight, man, what were some things that you were focused on, man? And when the fight was actually going on, was there anything that kind of caught you off guard? And what set up that knockout punch?
Well, my opponent was really tough. He was kind of fast. I was worried about how different fighters would approach me, having footage of me losing, so I was worried about how that would approach, my opponents coming at me, from fights going on. He hit me with a really good heel kick in the first round. It landed perfectly right in my damn medulla, and it was just like all I could do was play it off like, no, I blocked it. Yeah, I blocked it, but it was a great hit. And other than that, it was my round. I envisioned myself winning, and I went out there and did it. It was never a doubt in my mind that
I've never been in the position that you're in to hit somebody with a clean shot and have them fall over and the crowd goes wild. Could you just explain the emotions of that time? Because you've always been a very emotional fighter, and you let those emotions go. But could you just really explain to me the magnitude of that moment?
It is amazing. That pass. When you was traveling your documentary, that passion that you got, hey, come look at this, hey, I'm doing this. It's that, but it's the opening debut of that, threefold. Well, I can't say threefold, but I don't know, but that's the closest I can to it. I always love fighting, and then it being legal, people are cheering me on to do this. It's a great feeling. I'm getting paid to do what I love. Like, I would waste the whole time trying to describe that feeling to you.
Nah, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. You knocked him out clean in the beginning of the second round. Did your corner tell you anything in between the rounds that kind of woke you up, or did you understand exactly what you needed to do and how to execute it?
Honestly, it was kind of my own hubris. I didn't want to be known as like a powerhouse. I didn't want to win like via knockout. I honestly wanted a submission, but my corner was telling me the technique I needed to use to get the win. So I had to weigh what I want versus what needs, to actually happen. And when I went out there and did it, I always tell my coach, Richard Travell and Jarrell Bowman, and Josh, like when they're in my corner, it's kind of like, it's just a video game, and they got the controller, and they say jab left. That's what I do.
Now, you mentioned Coach Trammell, man, and I believe after your loss to TJ, man, I saw you training at different gyms. Was there some type of change that you made, or could you just explain you training at a different gym?
Well, it was just I wanted to get the love for it back. Like, I got so caught up on just, it was kind of like Rocky, remember when he just got so caught up in everything that was going on. Like, hey, no, I want to be at this, this cool gym where all the girls can see me and all this other stuff. It's, I feel like I just lost the love for the sport, and I had to get it back for myself. So Shields is always my home, and they know that no matter where I go, like, it's just, I'm welcome at a bunch of different gyms, and I genuinely love, punching people in the face. So, it's always, nice to punch a new person in the face, a fresh gym to be at, new techniques to learn, minds to pick on, just how to move, not just as a fighter, but, as a businessman, on how to envision your career. Not every fight is a good fight. It's just, I just had to focus on me, and it was a great experience. I think a lot of the different gyms that I went to, such as, Full Throttle Fitness, Leo Kelly has a great gym. It's been a couple of other boxing gym in Marietta that I've been to. I'm glad that I'm not fighting anyone at ATT anymore, because, I love training there when they.
You're not done fighting for them or fighting people from them. I'm sure we'll dig up another one. But what did you think of Justin, your partner? What did you think of Justin versus TJ, and how much did you get to see?
I saw a good portion of it. I saw a very good portion of it. I feel like he kind of just got caught up into the hype of everything, and I can attest to it. Like, it wasn't his biggest fight. Justin McCullen he's been in there a lot, whether it's been kickboxing or MMA. But when that hype gets brought into it, it's a little, it's emotions. People are yelling. You can get out of the aspect of what's really going on. And some fighters like, TJ Hawk can really capitalize on that.
What did you think of TJ's performance?
I feel like his performance was trash. He won. He did win. His, that technique he used, it worked. I feel like the performance was trash, but the way he goes about it is beautiful. I love just like from, even before he called me out to, now just how he went about things and the things that he's using his voice for. I can attest to. I mess with that, how he does things for these kids in these communities. Like, if I ever was going to lose to somebody, at least it's somebody that's using the clout of it to do positive things. That's what I like.
Do you want to rematch TJ, and do you want to rematch him in MMA or Muay Thai, or do you not care?
Honestly, I don't care. Like, we have to fight. Like, it has to happen. Right now, in a year or whenever it happens, it doesn't matter to me. I kind of just do whatever my coaches tell me to do. Jesse, you, David, y'all got David, y'all all have Josh's, Trammell's, and Richard's numbers. Anytime we ready to set this up, I would love to make it happen.
So following the fight, following your epic knockout, man, we spoke in the cage. you were trying to take the microphone out of my hand. I wasn't gonna allow you to do that. I know you're a trained fighter, man, but yo, I'm a trained journalist, so you stay in your lane, I'm gonna stay in mine, brother. But you was very passionate about the call out of TJ Holt, and I respected it. And then even after TJ's fight, man, you were there front row and center yelling that you wanted it, man. We all saw the first fight, man. What could you have done differently, and what will you do differently the next time that y'all line up to compete against each other?
I can just train harder. I wasn't at my best that night. He got it. And also, it was just a lot of variables that I wish I would have been not focused on. Like Friday night, it was so many people that I accidentally ignored. I didn't even mean to. Like, just even from the cage announcer. Like, I forget that this guy, teaches at Octopus. I see him all the time. He's announcing me to call him out. But that fight with TJ, I got people coming in from Detroit, family I haven't seen in years. That's one of my most ticket sales ever. Like, it was just like I said with Justin, you got caught up in the hype. And then, instead of, just being the man, you're trying to be the man instead of just a man. It's a big thing, but when you get the rematch, you'll see it.
Can't wait for it.
And I appreciate your fans being on their best behavior. I did notice that Friday night, and not a lot of people see it, but that is something that you and I talked about after the last show. I made my request that you speak to your fans, and stuff happened at the district that shouldn't happen again. We handle like men, and we handle it privately, and your fans did an excellent job Friday night. They're loud, they were supportive of you, and I think that helped you out tremendously. We're about to bring TJ Holt on in a second here. What would you say to him? Because I know he's watching right now, and then we'll wrap you up and bring TJ in. Not to put you on the spot.
We can do it, bro. Anytime, any place. It has to happen. It's going to happen. It ain't too many contenders out here. You want to be it. When you came and you called for me, that little 3-0 dude, I answered. I wanted that rematch. You stepped over me a couple times, but I understand. There was better fights going on, and there was better opportunities. You would have been a fool not to take them. But now you got time. So have your people talk to my people. We'll set this.
I appreciate Travell, and you have a good night, buddy.
Travell, before we go, man, I just got to let you know I respect you, brother. All love. You know it. Ladies and gentlemen, again, that was Travell Miller, all the way from Detroit. Shout out to my man David Oblas, NFC's promoter in the building. You still doing okay, man?
I'm doing good. Studio B, working out.
Next, we got the champ. The champ is here. We've been talking about you all day, man. But he's now officially in the building, in the whip. What's up? What's up, TJ? What's up, champ?
What's up, man? I'm chilling on the way to dinner.
That's what's up, man. How you living, man? You been champ for a couple of days, man. What's it feel like?
Man, I feel good. Like I told you in the interview, I feel like I can take a breath now. But the grind don't stop. I went to the gym this morning, got back to training. But I mean, it's like a lot of, I've been chasing the title for so long, even though a lot of people have been calling me champ, say I move like a champ, live like a champ, but it feels good to put that stamp on it, to make all the hard work finally coming to two, winning on the biggest stage, and it feels good. It just feels like it's all worth it.
Absolutely, man. You had literally the whole hood out there, man. You had the whole hood, and you had the children out there this weekend, man. How did it feel to just not only just get the belt, but get the belt in front of your people, man, and just be surrounded by so much love this weekend?
Man, it's unreal, man. Like I said, just the only word I can give for it is blessed. That's the only word I can really say to just bring it all together, for real.
Did Justin McCullum do anything that caught you off guard throughout that fight, man? I know it went all 5 rounds, man. There was a couple of stoppages during the fight, man. Was there anything that caught you off guard? Is there any props you're going to give to him? Just what you see?
Nah, from a striking standpoint, there was nothing he threw that I didn't prepare for. I sparred with some of the best people in Georgia with that same type of technique. OC was one of my main sparring partners, and y'all saw how composed and how of a killer he is. And I went to his gym. I trained with him a lot during camp, and I told him, "Don't turn it down. I need to see those spinning kicks. I know you're real good at it. I know my opponent do them." And he really brought it to me. He landed at least 20 spinning kicks on me in training until I finally, it didn't come till I started getting away with it until the last week of camp. Like fight week was the last week where I actually started avoiding them. All of them, the whole fight camp, I was getting hit with spinning shit. So by the time the fight came, anything he threw, I saw. Other than them nut shots, I was ready for everything.
He did land you with 2 nut shots in 1 round, didn't he?
Yeah, it was.
I think you went
I
down
mean,
right in
and I
front
don't
of
think it was on.
Jesse, Tiffany, and I.
Yeah, not to take it away from him, I don't think it was on purpose, but it's just like, damn, like why I gotta be this unfortunate, you know?
How close were you to not making it up within the 5 rounds or not starting within the 5 minutes? Because I think you took about 3 minutes out of that.
Yeah, when it first happened, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to continue because I couldn't breathe. Like my legs really was the first thing that gave out, and it actually wasn't the second. I think it was three. It was three. The first one the ref didn't see. I kind of tried to fight it off, which I shouldn't have. My corner told me again that I got to get out of that shit, trying to be tough, like because I'm just so used to fighting through things as a fighter. But it's like that's my weakness, and it's every man's weakness. No doubt about it. No man can fight through that. And I just like this is the last fight where I'm gonna even try to fight through it without getting a breather. Because even when I went back and looked at it, even though I took a break when I came back, the fighter in me was still trying to fight, but I had no pop on my punches. My legs were a little wobbly, and I just got to get out of that mentality. I'm tougher than this shit because I'm not.
That's real, man. Now, but we talked about the actual fight. There's a lot that went down before and after the fight. We're gonna start with before. You debuted your new record. Could you tell us about the record, man, and the walkout?
Yeah, Money Gang. That's my new single is out on all platforms right now. It actually did good numbers. I think from the weigh-in video that I previewed it with when we had the face off or whatever. Um, yeah, it's a song that I made during fight camp. Yeah, if you hear it, I'm talking about me stepping up to the cage, ready to catch a body, all that. So like I said, the more I go, I'm gonna make more music that complements me as a fighter. But yeah, I just at the person that I am, I want to have fun with this journey. Like I said, my followers, my fans, supporters, they get to actually come see me fight, and the people who don't, I'm get to tell my story through music as well.
Man, it's dope, bro. I thought the walkout was great. Per usual, man. You always give us a show. You're a full blown entertainer now. There was entertainment during the before the fight, during the fight, and after the fight. We just had Travell Miller on talk about his call out of you. And after the fight, he was sitting there, cage shot, man. You was literally walking around. Who wants smoke with me? Who wants smoke with me? What did you think about his call out? And then what did you think about what he just said on the pod on NFC Now?
The call out, I don't know what. I'm glad he called me out because I honestly, after the first fight, I didn't think he would want to fight me again. And remember, I told you I was gonna beat him in MMA first because I wanted Ty the first time because he had the Ty belt. He turned down the Ty fight to do MMA. I guess he thought he had a better chance. So with me beating him in Ty, and his only hope was to get like a takedown or something. That's when I was green at MMA. I'm so much more ahead now MMA than I was back then. But as a kickboxer, I was already. He wasn't ready for me as a kickboxer, and he knew that. And now it's like I get better by the day. So I didn't understand why he called me out, but I was happy because hey, I feel like I be running out of opponents at this point. Like even with Nima, like Nima beat me, but I feel like he know deep down that win wasn't legit. And that's why I requested a rematch, and he turned it down. I won't blame him. I wouldn't fight me twice. I wouldn't fight me twice either. So for Travell to be in there with a killer like me and feel what he felt and to want to do it again, I, I I feel like he's a true warrior for that. I give him respect, and I'm gonna give him a rematch. You know me, I ain't ducking it.
Which sport would you want to do it in?
I definitely want. I beat him in MMA already, so now I'm gonna do Ty. I don't want to beat him twice in MMA.
I'm excited for it, man. I'm signed up for it. I also thought that when he was just on the pod, he paid you respect just as a man, like man to man. He was like, if I was supposed to lose to anybody, I want to lose to that guy because of what you're doing in the community. You brought the kids in the cage, man. Have you been able to talk to those kids just about like what they felt in that moment of watching TJ Holt do his thing, man, and like what that meant for them?
It's crazy because the actual next morning, they asked me when we was at the fights after. They was like, "Do we still got practice in the morning, coach?" Because practice at Saturday at 10 a.m. And I was like, "Yep, y'all better be there too." And deep down, I knew I was gonna be tired or whatever, but I still woke up. I texted them in the morning. They still was there, so the gym Saturday morning. I got to see all the kids who was at the fight. My mom brought the belt through. They was happy that I got to take pictures with the belt, but they was fired up Saturday morning. It kind of inspired them. They was there before me. Usually I'm the first one there. They was there before me, already with their gloves on, hitting the bag. So it inspired them to go even harder. And like I got some hard working kids. Like I can't believe how hard they be going in the gym because I wasn't even fighting at that age, and them kids are under 12 years old and they be in the gym giving they all. So to see them in the gym that next morning, fired up, like coach, hey champ, man, that felt so good to know that I could really, like I'm already inspiring them to fight, but to see me fight and to go to the gym the next morning and see them more fired up, even more motivated, that's just all the reason why I got to keep going and I can't stop.
What did you think of the venue Monday Night Brewing? What did you like about it, dislike about it, and what you like more, Monday Night Brewing, Tannery, or District?
I love Monday night. All my people say they love it. They said they like it more than the district. I like the atmosphere at district. I feel like it's more
More
intense,
excitement,
but
more adrenaline.
yeah, more adrenaline. Maybe because it's the nightclub feel, but my people they say they love Monday night because it's not they don't have to look down. Like for the people who didn't have seats, they feel like they didn't have to look down, and of course the kids like I would love to, have my kids in the building and that a lot of parents who do come to see me, they be having to find babysitters. A lot of them can't come because they gotta find places for their kids. So for the parents who had kids, they was like they would love to come back to the event. I love that event. I mean, I love that venue. I feel like yeah, they said the parking since it's not paid to park. The only thing I didn't like about it, I had a lot of people call and didn't say they know where it was. So I
Yeah.
think maybe for future if we have it there again, just maybe like signs with arrows pointing where to go, because that was like the only hard part of finding the actual building. But other than that, I love that venue.
Yeah, and that's always my problem using a venue for the first time, or this time we've used it before, but the first time in 4 years. It's just getting people to realize where it is, how nice it is, how kid friendly it is, the free parking, and just get accustomed to it. But now that we've done one show there, I think each one that we do subsequently is going to be much easier and easier for the fighters to promote and easier the fans to recognize and get out to.
And you know our people, bro. If they don't know where they going, they start calling you as if you're not about to get into a fist fight. It's like, come on, bro, don't do
Man,
that.
yeah. All them people there, ask somebody. It was a lady,
Something
man,
going
and
on, man.
security driving around. But yeah,
Yeah,
I understood though. I understood.
for sure, man. Yo, you put on a hell of a show, man. You're a hell of an entertainer, man. You're a hell of a man, and even your opponents, they understand and they recognize that, bro. We recognize that about you. Before we part ways today, TJ Holt, champ, what do you want to leave us with, man?
Man, I just want to say I thank David for the opportunity, to keep putting on. I appreciate you every time helping me get my story out there. That's all I want to say, man. I'm just thankful for everything. It feels good to be champ. And like I said, I'm ready as soon as possible. I was back in the gym today. I took zero damage. I heard Travell saying he felt like my fight was trash. Remember, I told you backstage, I felt like my performance was my best performance, but to my coaches, I fought the perfect fight. I fought my game plan. I fought the way I was supposed to. Like I said, every fight is different. Like I couldn't go in there and brawl with someone who I had a better skill than. I was the longer fighter. I used my reach. I didn't let him get to me. So of course it wasn't what my people was accustomed to. It wasn't. I had to stay. I had a methodical approach. I clocked points. I clocked rounds. I stayed clean, and I brought it home. To some people it was boring. To my coaches, to my team, they said I did exactly what they told me to do, and I'm okay with that.
I thought it was exciting. I thought it was one of the top three fights of the night, in my opinion. So I think anyone thought it was boring doesn't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah, and
And
like I said, to me, the only thing I can take away from it, I didn't get to go into my killer mode. Right when I was about to go into my killer mode was when that nut shot happened. When I post the highlights, you would see that he was about to go. He was about to get ready to go. I was just turning it up. I had so much more in the tank, but this was my first 4 or 5 round fight, and I was so nervous, cause I know the type of condition I am. But I literally wanted to test my body, so I didn't try to. The first through 4 rounds, I didn't go for no knockout shots or anything because I didn't want a flash knockout. I wanted to test my body and see how my body felt in the deep waters. So I saved everything until that 5th round, and that's when I tried to turn it up. And unfortunately, I got slowed down. But knowing that I can feel like the 1st round and the 5th round, it's fucked up for the competition right now. Moving forward.
and you have no scratches, man. You look like you ready to go shoot a music video right now, man. You enjoy dinner, TJ. You know you the man, bro. Hey, I respect you, brother.
Yes, sir. Support a hustler.
Support a hustler, ladies and gentlemen. That's this champ, the 145-pound NFC kickboxing champion, TJ Holt. I'm Julian Virgin. That's David Oblas. This is NFC Now. Coming up next on the program, we got our two heavyweights who competed this past weekend. They threw down our main event.
Bring them on.
Let's go. We got Austin Green.
And this is the first time we've done this. We're bringing in both guys. I saw the connection between both Austin and Cam. It seemed like not only they were competitors going for the heavyweight championship, but seemed like they were pretty cool with each other and pretty laid back. And I always think once you fight someone else, then you can develop a training partner in that and a friend. So we're bringing both you guys on the same time, Cam and Austin. Hopefully you guys are okay with that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
cool.
yeah, we're all good. We're all good.
What's up, y'all, man? Y'all just threw down, man, in an epic main event at NFC Fight Night 149. You know, one person had to come out victorious, which is Austin Green. Cam, you came out on the back end, man, but y'all both put up a hell of a fight. A couple days removed, man. What are y'all thinking?
I loved every bit of it. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Didn't get the W, but I mean, it's always a lesson, man. You've been doing this as long as I have. It's always a lesson.
Yeah, it was fun for sure.
Was it difficult fighting someone you seem to be cool with? Because it seemed like you guys are cool with each other. Does that make it more difficult to fight?
Nah, it's all business, man.
To me, it's always weird because like you're getting ready to go in there and fight, and then everybody's cool, and so to me it's always like awkward at first, but then once you get in there, and then the referee says go, it's like you said, it's all business.
And Jesse Wable mentioned earlier, we do 5-round fights for some title fights, but for the heavyweights, I don't do 5-round fights. I don't like it. I think after 5 rounds, I think after 3 rounds, you guys would be absolutely exhausted. And I think it would make a boring rounds 4 and 5 for the crowd. And I always try to make sure the competitors look the best that they can for the crowd. So that's why you guys are a 3-round fight. Austin, what do you think about 3 rounds compared to 5? Which would you prefer?
The shorter time I gotta be in there, I'm cool with that because you know what I'm saying, we don't get paid by the hour, so 15 compared to 25, I'll take it every time.
What about you, Cam?
I mean, I'm right along with him. I mean, as a heavyweight, that takes a toll on us being in there for a good bit. The only upside I would say there would be to that is for some of us who look to potentially, you know what I'm saying, get to the bigger stages where that is no option. You know, you have to go those 5 rounds if need be. So, I mean, as far as looking for past that, I think that's just more so getting prepared.
My question for both of y'all is, what was the game plan going into the fight, and how did that change? Like, how were you able to implement that, or how did it change due to, what your opponent threw at you?
I ain't gonna lie, mine was stay away from his big ass. That's a big man. Like, my biggest thing was, like, I know I move a lot faster than some heavyweights just because of, I just do. I don't know why. So it's like, man, you stand on the outside of his range, like I'm like, boom, I can pick him apart with some of my shots, and he's gonna get tired eventually. Which, for the most part, it worked. But he got a hold Jimmy on the cage, and it's like, shit.
Yeah, for me, like I wanted to test my striking, because most of my pro fights recently have been nothing but wrestlers. So I've always had to defend the takedowns and never got a chance to actually test my striking against somebody who has solid striking. And then I felt a couple of those leg kicks, a couple of them hooks. I was like, okay, we're gonna change this up a little bit. I'm gonna grab a hold of them, slow them down, tire them out a little bit, and try to drag it on to the later rounds.
Was there at any point, because y'all both exchanged some leather, was there at any point like where like one of y'all got hit and was like, damn, that hurt?
I can't say so because I ain't gonna lie. Like, this is weird about me. Majority of the time I get hit, I'm probably gonna smile back just because that's just me. Hey, getting hit with a good shot is like, okay, yeah, now we've got to fight.
Yeah, a couple of leg kicks, I felt I was like, okay, I got to check those. Those started to sting a little bit, and then a couple of those hooks. It was, a lot of them were like from the ground strikes. Those the ones that blacked my eye. You know, nice little. You know, we light skinned, so
yeah,
we bruise easy. So you know what I'm saying, those little ground strikes, you know, they add up.
Now, y'all are walking around with black eyes. You are. This was a professional fight, man. But what do y'all have alternative hustles, or is this just what y'all do?
I work day to day, man. I've been doing this for quite a while. It's extremely hard to just remain as a just professional fighter. Like, yeah, I train every day, but like income wise, oh no, yeah, you got to work, man.
I mean, this is my secondary job besides this, I do professional bodyguard work and personal security and stuff like that.
Hey man, so let me know you need a partner now.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. We down in Florida for sure.
What about your wrestling background? You also do that, and you've been AEW and other stuff like that.
Yeah, I do professional wrestling as well. I haven't really been focusing on that recently just because I've been trying to get ready for these upcoming fights, and then each fight I get is like bigger and bigger, so it's like it's hard for me to put time into wrestling when I got tough opponents that I'm trying to put time into getting ready for.
Now, y'all dedicate your time to the craft, and then you also have to work another job in order to make ends meet. But my biggest question is why? Like, why do you go out your way to still fight and chase this dream?
I love it. Like,
it really is, man.
I love, you know what I'm saying? I love going to the gym every day, knowing that I'm getting ready to. I'm training I'm training to go to battle with somebody else who's also training to go to battle with me. And it's just like, I played football my whole life, so it kind of gives you that same vibe of like, you know what I'm saying, we're getting ready for game day, but you're not getting ready for 1 week. It's 6, 7, 8 weeks you're getting ready for this specific person, and it's like it pushes on. It's just, I love it. Like, it's just hard to explain. Like, it's one of those things that it's hard to explain. It's weird.
Is that shared passion? Go ahead, please.
I agree with that, man. Like, I mean, every fighter, of course, has, probably a specific reason why they choose to get into the cage, man. But, I mean, all in all, most of us, fighting has saved us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has definitely saved me many times, just being able to have something to dedicate yourself to. Like, it's not just like a normal passion, like, oh, hey, I like motorcycles, or, I like to paint. Like, this is legit not just hobby that, hey, I can do this on the weekends and it's fun. Like, man, you have to dedicate your complete life to it. I mean, it just means so much more.
Is that shared passion that like y'all can both relate to? Is that what makes that mutual respect between the two, or we can get on a call a couple of days after y'all went to war and still be cool because y'all share
that? I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know it's just business. I don't have any animosity towards anybody I've ever fought. We all deal with the same things day to day. He got to go to the gym just like I got to.
Does it make it easier for you guys to train with each other, or at least communicate with each other now that you guys have fought and got out of the way? Like, would you guys ever train with each other? Because you're not too far away.
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah.
we've
That's
already talked
already
about
we
it.
already in the works, man. Like
We
Einstein
already talked
design,
about
man.
it.
And also, this was the first time we've worked together. I've kind of stalked your career the last year on B2, and I saw you wrestle at District a few months ago. But I was kind of worried about you coming to the weigh-ins because the max is 267, and I think a week earlier you were, correct me if I'm wrong, 290 or 293.
I was
Um, so
90.
I made Osei come to the weigh-ins, even though Osei didn't have a fight. I made him come to the weigh-ins in case you missed weight. I was going to put Osei versus Cam, actually, without really talking to you guys about it too much. But that was the backup plan to be kind of
Gotcha.
discount Dana White out there a little bit. But
Yeah.
how did you lose 25 pounds the week of being a heavyweight?
Look, let me. The first 10 was okay.
Easy.
Everything after that, hey, it was rough. That's part of the reason why I was so tired going like halfway through that first round. That weight cut
I've been
is
there, bro. I haven't been there.
I did it. I did it before my last fight as well, and had to cut like 20, almost 30 pounds. But I missed weight that fight. But this one, I was like, nah, I can't miss it 2 times in a row. Like I had to suck it up and do what I had to do to make that weight.
And me and Jesse didn't even know what would happen. We've never seen a heavyweight miss weight, so we didn't know if the athletic commission, if you did happen to miss weight, if the fight would still go on, or if they'd say you're now a super heavyweight and you missed weight. I know the week earlier Chris Barnett missed weight in the UFC, so that kind of showed us a little bit that athletic commissions would still let you guys fight. But going into it, we had never seen a heavyweight miss heavyweight weight limit, so we were actually concerned about it.
Yeah,
I have missed weight before. So
You have?
yes, I've missed weight in my career before. So that's what I said. I can listen. Him talking about 26 pounds losing, I felt that because I've done it, and bro, it's not as easy as people make it seem. Like
yeah.
us being heavyweights, we can't just go our careers eating what the fuck we want. Doing this is hard work to even stay in the range of 265 and still be. I mean, in good competition. You know, we're both bigger guys, but you can see even size difference. He's much larger than me, but yet we weigh the exact same almost walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin, you a big dude. I ain't gonna hold you, man. When you got in that cage, I was like, golly, that's a big dude right there.
Oh, we shook that cage that Friday night. We shook that cage.
I thought I was going to have to buy myself a new cage. Last question I had for you before Julian is first Cam. Where do you go from here? What's next? What do you think? And then Austin after that.
Honestly, man, I'm kind of, I hate to even put it like this. I'm almost in the same boat I was literally exactly last year, a year ago, to this day. I was on a 9-fight losing streak. You know, a lot of people can go on my Tapology like, "Damn, man, this man's garbage." And I get asked this all the time, like, "Bro, why do you still fight?" I mean, at the end of the day, I can go in, take a loss, go home, and I can still have the opportunity to wake up the next day and do it again. You know, I mean, those losses don't define me because most of the guys that have fought me and beat me can sit here and tell you they're not going to fight me again. Period. You know, I fought some monsters. So at the end of the day, it's like, it's a loss, keep moving.
And same question for you, Austin. Where do you go from here, and how long till you make it to the UFC or Bellator?
I was actually talking to my management this weekend. I told them I'm looking to. I want to fight again either by mid-October, not mid-October, but mid-November, or by November, early December. I want to get one more in before the end of the year, whether that's with the UFC. I'm hoping, get maybe a call up to the UFC or like a last-minute call, or even for like just a different promotion to just keep me active. But I want to get at least one more in for the ending. I'm hoping it's with the UFC. I've been talking to my management. They've reached out, so we're waiting to find out some information. But that's the plan.
Hey, we wish you the best, Austin. Cam, in regards to you saying that you continue to get up there and make the walk after, experiencing a loss, man, I just gotta let you know I respect that, bro, because not everybody is even built, like myself, is not even built to walk into the cage, man. But you keep walking back after being after being on the other side of a victory, man. Nothing but respect to both of the Warriors that headlined our main event. I see Austin's walking around with a nice mouse on his eye, but we appreciate y'all for coming on to NFC's Now podcast, man. Again, Cam, Big Mac Graham, and Austin Green. Thank y'all.
Good job.
Respect. All right, and our last guest of our NFC Now pod for this week is the man. The man off of a huge victory. Jesse Wable said it was the submission of the night, and then he reneged and he gave it to the heavyweights, because not all heavyweights are caught in triangle chokes, man. But it was still a hell of a rear naked choke that you put Ryan Kimbrough in, man. That was in some people's eyes, a big upset victory. We got our man Trace Harper. Trace, what up?
What's up, brother? Can you hear me good?
Clear. You probably sound better than me, man. I got a big echo going on, bro. Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your lighting improved a hell of a lot from last week to this week.
I'm glad. I'm at the gym today, so I'm glad.
That's what's up, man. Good to see you, bro. How's it feel the Monday after getting a big victory in front of your crowd?
Feels awesome, man. Feels good. Helped motivate me a little more going into this week of training.
Really? In what way?
I don't know. A lot of people didn't think I was going to win that fight, so it just feels good to go out there, beat him, and then get back to training better. And it showed me that all the hard work I put in is worth it. Working.
Who were the people that said you weren't going to win that fight?
Bro, I had people within fighters coming in, just be not you, just like other fighters.
I didn't think you were going to win. I'll be honest. I thought Kimber was going to win. That's 100% honest.
Hey, you had every reason to believe that, man. He's a stud, man. He went out there and knocked 3 people out. But I knew that last guy he fought doesn't know how to fight. So it's easy to look good when you're knocking out people who don't know how to fight that well. So I knew I was going to be different than his past opponents.
Let's talk about the game plan going in, bro. Like, what was the mindset walking into the fight again? Kimbrough's striking was definitely on display within all of his fights, man. What was your mindset, and what did you and Coach Chad train?
So the plan was to go in there and just wrestle him in the first round and get his arms full of blood to take some away that power. And then in the second round, actually, exploit my striking on him and bring the striking to him. But when I took him down that first round, I just felt nothing. He didn't feel that strong. I thought his jiu-jitsu was going to be a little bit better than it was. So once I realized where he was at grappling-wise, I was like, that's where I have to take the fight. And I took it right there again, got the win.
Indeed, man. Again, that was a big victory, man, in front of an amazing crowd. As soon as the fight was over, man, you showed a lot of emotions. And we spoke following the fight in the cage, man. You shouted out your mom per usual, man. How did it feel to, put on that performance in front of her again?
That's one of the reasons I do this, just to make that woman smile. So seeing her smile, seeing her happy, that means the world to me.
Dad was there in the cowboy hat and the shirt and the boots, man. I know he's proud of you, man. What did he say? What was the conversation like afterwards?
He was proud, man. He sees the work I'm putting in. And also, he was just a proud dad. Happy.
We had Jesse on earlier. He said that another fight was made. Were you able to hear what Jesse said in regards to TJ Spires?
Yep. Yeah. He said fight Quincy Evans.
Yeah, that's what I heard, man. What were your thoughts about that?
Hey, it makes no difference to me. I mean, I wanted to fight TJ immediately after. Remember, David talked to Ryan Kemper about fighting him in November. Which, by the way, I was looking at you the whole time like, nah, he's not gonna be fighting TJ. It's gonna be me. But once I saw that I got booked, I was like, it's whatever. It's good though because I can just continue to train and continue to work on my grappling, and then fight the winner of that.
And like Jesse said, it's all about timing. When we plan a show out every 5 or 6 weeks, it's difficult to plan for things. And with it being the Jesse Wable Amateur Series and him getting a good financial chunk of it, I think he gets worried at times. And he made the fight last week because both guys were bugging him. I didn't even know about it until I looked on our shared Google spreadsheet this morning and questioned him before I had you on. But it made sense, and it puts you that you get a little bit of time off right now, and then probably do you guys in January or something like that.
Yeah, and I get more TJ. I get to see more of what he is as what he has as a fighter. Not a lot of footage out there of him to watch, so I look forward to studying.
What did you think of his idea of maybe having you there cage side and you being a commentator for that fight?
Oh, I didn't hear about that, but that sounds awesome.
Maybe come inside the cage afterwards, square up everybody and kind of just, set the platform. Because as David said last time, that was a title eliminator fight.
Yeah, I would love that. I'd love for them, both of them, to see how big I am in person. So I'd love that.
That's what stood out to me, man, when I saw you a couple times the past week. I was like, yo, my man started putting on a little weight, man. And like you were just as big as Ryan Kimbrough. I thought Kimbrough was a big 55er.
Mm-hmm.
You were a big 55er, man.
Sir, yes, sir. He felt it as well.
What do you weigh now? What are you back up to?
Back up to 170. These are where I
Too
sit.
bad.
Yes, sir.
Was it because of your meal at Waffle House afterwards, bro? What'd you order?
Absolutely, man. I got 2 waffles and a cherry Coke.
Is that typical, man? Because I went through your Instagram feed, man. It seems like after all your fights, you go to Waffle House. Is that something that you do?
Yeah, man. That Waffle House, I go to that Waffle House after every fight. I've done that since the J-Lon fight. Every waffle, I go to that same because it's right there off the exit where I live. So I hit that same one every time.
Win or loss?
Win or loss, man.
So you're 3-2 now. Have you thought about going pro now that you do have 5 fights? You could go pro if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Are you going to wait around and do that last amateur title fight?
Basically, yeah. I want the amateur belt to wrap up my amateur career.
Makes sense.
When you talk about making that jump from amateur to professional, what areas do you think you need to improve on in order to be in the best professional possible to set your career up?
That would definitely be my wrestling. I know you guys haven't seen it, but I'm really a striker. Like, striking is really my forte. So it would definitely be my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu.
Are you looking to face somebody who can test you in that, or are you more or less just looking to just train that while you're at independent MMA?
A little bit, yeah. I'm hoping someone eventually stop the takedown. Not hoping. If I can keep taking people down, I want to do that. But I know eventually I am going to fight a guy that's going to stop the takedown, and then I'm going to have to use these hands.
For sure, man. You looked amazing this past fight, man, and I really just appreciated just having the time to like just talk to you, man, and just like get to know who Trace Harper was a little bit more. Now, just moving forward, like, what do you do outside of throwing fists and wrestling and training, bro? You said you're 20 years old. Like, what does that look like your day to day?
Man, I'm pursuing this full time. I'm trying to make this my 9 to 5, man. I'm in the gym every day, twice a day. I'm at Top Team. I'm at Independent. I'm at X3. I'm lifting weights. I'm doing everything I can to get to that pro level and take off.
Why? Why do you fight?
Because we talked a little bit about it. I used to be a bitch, and I never want to feel like that again. You know, fighting has given me confidence. It's changed my life, and you know, I love it, man. I love the violence. I love the idea of just, you know, because in here we got to take it easy on each other and, you know, take care of our training partners. But being able to go in there and just like let ourselves loose and just go after each other, I enjoy it. I love it.
You mentioned that confidence aspect, man. Like after choking out a Ryan Kimbrough, man, what is your confidence at right now?
It's a lot higher, but I mean, I really did believe that was going to happen. Like I wasn't like, I was happy, but I knew like he didn't fight nobody, you know? But it does help going into a fight with TJ Spires, who is a grappler. So it does help with my confidence grappling wise.
What did you think of the venue, Monday Night Brewing? I think that was your first time there, compared to the other venues you fought for us at.
I liked it. It was badass. The pizza was cool. The chandeliers was cool. The only thing that sucked was our feet, man. Our feet got so dirty from the warehouse, man. Oh, dude, I had to wash my feet so many times. But other than that, it was a great venue, cool place.
It's funny because I did see a lot of guys walking around backstage barefooted before the fight, after the fight, walking throughout the chandelier part of the venue, not just backstage, but walking through the chandelier part of the venue with no shoes or flip-flops on. And I'm sitting there thinking, what are these guys doing? Like, there could be anything on the floor anywhere. You guys got to learn to wear shoes when you're not on the match backstage or not fighting.
Yeah. What would you say?
I said you guys got to learn to wear shoes or flip-flops when you're not on the match training backstage or in the cage. Like, outside of the cage, you guys need to wear, you know, there could be broken glass or anything anywhere.
Yo, absolutely. Your feet were so black in the cage. I was like, ooh. I was in the cage. I was like, ooh.
Bro, my knees, because I was shooting on the mats. I was shooting takedowns, and my knees were black. My feet were black. It was crazy.
And just on a as you continue to grow as a professional mixed martial artist, having an opportunity to talk to media, because this is like media obligations, and as you continue to progress in your career, I'm sure you want an opportunity to talk to those like Ariel and Brett Okamoto and some of those other MMA journalists, man. Just having the opportunity to be on NFC now, what does that do for you?
Oh man, it means the world to me, man. It's so cool, man. Like I feel like I'm following, I'm going where I want to be, where the pros are doing, man. Like having someone talk to me and care about my martial arts, that's cool. That's super awesome, man. And big shout out to you, Julian. You know, Fucking you out here, you making it happen, man. You interviewing the fighters, you know what I'm saying? All the respect to you, brother.
Hey man, bro, just thank you for just being like just open to just tell your story, bro, and appreciating it, bro. You know we appreciate you, man. Just as the man that you are, we appreciate your family, bro. Before we part ways today, man, we want your final thoughts, man. What you want to leave the NFC community with?
I want to leave the NFC with a big thank you to David, man. Again, you guys are awesome, man. What you guys do, without y'all, this would all be illegal. So thank you for everything you do, man. You guys are seriously awesome. You give us a platform. You give us something to do. You funnel fighters into the UFC. You change people's lives, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you, guys.
And where are you at right now, out of curiosity?
I'm at Independent MMA.
So every fighter we interview in the future needs to come to that same room with the same lighting that you're in right now.
Shoot, we need to be in that room right now. What you mean? We need to be where he is.
I couldn't even see Cam and Austin a minute ago on camera, but you're bright as hell.
I'm glad. Good.
Hey, Trace, bro, we appreciate your time, man. Be blessed, bro. Tell the fan we said hello, and we can't wait to watch you compete for the NFC 155-pound belt next time you step into the cage, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Peace out, man. And that's that, man. That's all our guests that we have on today's episode of NFC Now. That's David Oblas. I'm Julian Virgin. David, your takeaways from today's show?
Man, I think we had a good show. We had a lot of the guys that made the difference Friday night. I think we had everyone that I don't want to say this rudely. We missed a couple guys, obviously, but I think we had everyone that shined. We had both heavyweights. We had Trace Harper. We had Travell. We had TJ Holt. You know, show is an hour and a half right here. Can't add too many of the guys. I think we're feeling the flow of being on this podcast. We're getting better and better. Trying to get the Trace Harper level of lighting. But, I mean, it was a stellar fight night. It was a good podcast. We're getting where we need to be.
Yeah, man. Steps and strides, man. Just, you know, we're on this journey, too. We'll definitely try to get to the Trace Harper level of lighting. I'm trying to get to the David Oblas level of audio, man. We're continuing to work on this, trying to get rid of this echo. But we appreciate all y'all for just tuning in and just being a part of the NFC community. Again, this is NFC Now, our pod. We'll be doing this every Monday. Continue to drop those comments in our comment section. Let us know who you want to hear from. There's so many dope-ass stories that surround this promotion that can be told, man. And, you know, I'm excited for what's to come. Even on weeks where we don't have big fights, man, there's so many, like, interesting characters that make these fight nights happen each and every week. And former fighters, you know, current fighters, commission members, videographers, you know, video photographers, people that work, Charlene, you know what I'm saying? Jesse, just having those people on so we can tell their stories. So y'all drop those comments and just throughout the week, let us know who you would like to hear from here on NFC Now.
And also topics to discuss. It doesn't always have to be people that fall in the NFC last week or next week. You know, topics. We've got Chris Barnett that was at the show the other night, who's probably the top UFC star right now outside of Nate Diaz making his waves. You know, we had Andre Galvao versus why can't I remember the guy's name in Jiu-Jitsu last week, the super fight. I don't know why I can't remember that right now. You know, we had the IBJJF Jiu-Jitsu in Atlanta. We had a coach go ape shit at the Jiu-Jitsu tournament this past week in Atlanta. So we got a lot of other topics to discuss. That'd be fun. So let us know the topics out there that you'd like to see us discuss out there.
Can't wait to have y'all on next Monday, 7 o'clock, NFC Now. Before we dip up out of here, we gotta play that NFC 149 recap video done by Jenna Lee Childress Flatline Cinema. Show that one more time, man, and just to let y'all know that, hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to NFC Now. I'm Julian Virgin. That's David Oblas. Till next week.
Next Monday, 7 o'clock.
Peace.